Hey guys, it's the Camel again and welcome back to our... and surprisingly, not to the first episode of the Hypercoaster and also not to the final video of this coaster over here. Because of several reasons, I'm gonna explain those first of all before we go into it a little bit. So first of all, best things first, we will have a little bit of an on-ride at the end of this video, just because I think that it's, first of all, it's not the final version. I have to smooth it here and there again, and yeah, a little bit of work is still to do. Second, because the theming isn't final yet, or it's even not finished. Well, you will see, but I will also give you an idea already how it will look in the end. As you can already see a little bit, I also started to do some custom supporting and some kind of stuff like that. And the on-ride will also be maybe hitting some walls. Could be. But yeah, so first of all, why I'm going to do this episode, which I said won't be happening because it's always 3 episodes, like the first episode showing my layout, second episode showing you the revamp of the layout according to your feedback, and the third episode showing you the final result, and then maybe having a fourth one with the final POV. So in this time we will have 5 videos for the inverted coaster, just because there were kind of a discussion going on the last video about this coaster. Which I won't go too much into detail because I don't want to blame some single persons or so. But at the end, I wanted to show you that I'm taking all of your feedback into account. And I've spoken to some people I do really, trust in terms of building coasters. And I have to say thanks again to those people. And I don't want to mention them now because I don't know if they're okay with it, because if you guys are going crazy right now, I don't want to blame them for this, so I'm not going to say this, but there are few people I really do trust in terms of coaster building, because they're pretty much expert, and I will name them in the future for sure. But for now, I'm going to explain a little bit regarding this feedback, which was pretty much in terms of how you would give feedback in general for you all of you guys. That was not the way to give feedback. So feedback always, even though it's bad feedback, has to be in a kind of positive way. So if you want to make sure that somebody is going to change things which you are not okay with, and it's the first thing to do, try to be polite and try to be constructive. And it doesn't help people if you go to them and just tell them that things are bad without saying what they can improve or why they are bad. So I would suggest, if you're going to give feedback, and even though it's bad feedback, which is the only feedback I guess which helps, try to do it as polite and as constructive as possible so people can deal with it. I'm fine, don't get me wrong, you can do whatever you want, I can handle it, although you always kind of imagine and you kind of think over the comments you get. So I can't deny that I'm not doing, but I can handle it. Trust me, I can handle it. But anyways, before then going into the layouts, and trust me, it's not taking too long now, I just wanted to explain again what this series is about, just to make sure that the last of you also understands what this series is about. The first thing first, I don't want to rebuild real coasters, and I don't want to build a coaster which is basically a puzzle out of real coasters kind of cut out of each other and then put together again in one new one. That would be a pretty good series if you want to learn to build actual 1x1 rebuilds. And this would be also a nice series if I would call it the perfect coaster. But it's not. This series should be about a project which is an interaction between me and you as a community and as followers or as viewers and as equally treated people. You can give your feedback and I try to take it into account to build a coaster which we then can call, surprisingly, our coaster, because it's mine, it's built up out of your feedback and out of your ideas. And this means that we won't build a perfect one-by-one recreation, because if I would take all of your feedback into account, we would never ever build a realistic coaster. And I try to get this feedback kind of sorted out to build the best result out of it, if that makes sense. And in the end, it will never be the case that everybody is happy with it, but at least there could be a vast majority of people, or vast majority of people that can be happy with the result in the end, because they kind of feel they have taken part in it. That's the idea. I mean, we could also build like kind of forests and call it our forest, which wouldn't make sense, because that's, at the end, it's a game about coasters, you know, and theme parks. And I don't want to do it with building, because I'm a little bit strange in terms of building, because I always have my own ideas, and I like to have my live streams, which I can always get your ideas in, but I want to do them on my own, and you know, that wouldn't be a good series to call it our building or so. So it should be our coaster. But after this long talk, let's go into what I've actually changed after the last episode. So although a lot of people were talking about this first element, that this is kind of unrealistic or strange or whatever, this element is a one-by-one copy from the Horntail coaster, which were early on the Dueling Dragons. It's the blue one, the left one, no, it's the right one. And it exactly does this one. Maybe it's a tiny little bit different shape, but it's exactly that element. And in the next step, we are going into the 0G roll, which I have changed quite a lot. I try to shape it better. I have to say, I will pretty much stick with this how it is right now, because I have the problem, I don't know, I think I spent 2 hours making this better, and it somehow doesn't work better as it is right now. It feels a little bit wonky. When we later on will have the on-ride, you will see that it's still a little bit wonky, but yeah. So I added the little bit of a straight part at the end of it, which is one of those elements, and one of those elements of feedback that we will have. First of all, a little bit of a straight line before we can go into the next element. And I also changed this little weird looking thing over here, which you kind of all didn't like. So we are actually going into a little bit of a helix area over here, which is a double helix going up again, taking a little bit the momentum with us into this new half loop area over here, which is then transitioning into the loop a little bit better than before, I guess. Even though it's still not looking good, I have to change it a little bit still, because I'm not exactly happy with how it looks right now. It feels kind of smooth, so it's not too bad, but I have to at least change the shape of it a little bit. But at least we do have now a better transition, and not this weird looking half loop thingy thing going on, which was going on before that one. But yeah, so we are then going into the loop, which is also completely redone. It's smaller than before. It has a little bit of more of this teardrop shape to it. It's a little bit tighter also, to have the forces going on a little bit more. We have this overbank curve over here, which I did a little bit more banking to it than it has been before. So this is pretty much stolen from Black Mamba, this part over here, which is, yeah, nearly entirely like this, although this right-hand turn isn't ending up into a corkscrew, it's kind of going into an inline twist, but anyways. Then we have this straight area over here launching into the corkscrew, which I then have changed again, so also to have this little straight part over here to end this with. And then we have do have a trade-off. This yeah, turn over here is pretty unrealistic, I guess, but I had to take this as a compromise, because I tried a little bit to go over here again and then back in here, but that, yeah, it just didn't work. I might also have to change this a little bit over here, because it's slightly hanging to the left side, which is not that realistic. It could go straight for a second, but then it has to go to the left hand side again. So yeah, then we have this part over here, which is basically just a long turn to the right, and then it's going into this inline twist, which I haven't changed much. It's just, yeah, it's, I know it's not the most common element. Actually, I don't know if there's a coaster in there in real life which has this element, but yeah, I kind of changed it because a little bit of the how's it called, the shaping, so to make it a little bit more forceful. and go into this last area over here, which is then ending into the break one, which I haven't changed at all, because I was kind of happy with it. I'm not happy with the first part of it, to be honest, this one over here. I might just remove the how's it called? Wait, how's it called? I have to go into the track edit for a second because I could do it right now. Wait, is it that far? No, we can take it as one. It's called the catwalk. So maybe we just remove the catwalk over here. And yeah, then we go on and have the last part over here, which I haven't changed at all as well. So that's it. I also changed the first drop a little bit to shape it finally a little bit better than before. But that's all I changed. And I think it's already time to take a ride and see what's happening with the on-ride. It's as well, for me, it's also the first on-ride we take, so yeah. I will see then what I have to do in the future to improve it. Anyways, there we go. And I will shut up my mouth for a second and take a nip of my water. Alright, so yeah, as I said before already, there are a few parts I have to kind of smooth out, and you know, especially this part over here was really wanky. Also the kind of tunnel over here is really shaky in a way. I have to smooth that out as well and maybe rebuild the entire thing a little bit to have it, because I think smoothing doesn't necessarily help us there because it's already too wanky in general. So yeah, the transition over here is not finally perfect. It's not perfect at all. This part over here I do like a lot, I have to say. This one is from there to over there, for example. I think it's already pretty decent. I have also to say that this part over here was pretty wanky, so I kind of wanted to go maybe a little bit more banked as well, and then just to, you know, it has to get the movement straight and smooth instead of just shaky thingy going on top of it, which was kind of strange. Yeah, as I said, this one is somehow weird looking. The transition is not perfect at all. I might want to change this as well again. But yeah, so I just want to show you, okay, I try to take the feedback into account, and maybe to sum up, this is not, yeah, but it's if we would get our inspiration from a coaster, then it would be the first gen B&M coaster, but it has already, in terms of the size of it and how spread out it is, it definitely has also some elements of a second gen, but in the end, as I said, it's just inspired by it. It shouldn't be a rebuild, it shouldn't be a 1x1, it's, you know, but I have to say I'm happy with the layout as it is right now, so I'm pretty curious what you guys will say now about this layout and this little change of it. But yeah, I'm as always curious to see, and just give me your feedback, and yeah, we will see and hear each other in terms of our coaster in the next episode, which will be the first episode of the Hypercoaster. I'm definitely not going to do another one of this, but it came in handy this week because I'm in Berlin anyway. So I won't have time to prepare the Hypercoaster quite yet. So that came in handy to do this rebuild and revamp before it. So yeah, see you then in the next episode, and make sure to put down your feedback, please, and yeah, try to be a little bit polite. That would be great. Anyways, have a great day, have a great night, have a nice evening. I don't know what you're having as a time now, but whatever. See ya then, guys. Bye bye.